Hello everyone. This is a video to help you answer the questions for week 3 or session 3 quiz 1, and I just wanted to kind of walk you through each question to see if I can give you a little more clarification to help improve some quiz scores. So let's start. Now, questions 1 through 3 have to do with this table you see right here. Now there was some problems with this. I had a duplicate number here. I had basically 2 months that were asking about May, and I changed number 2 to reflect April, but I realized number 1 also has about April. Basically what I was trying to do is ask a question about March, April, and May. So question 1 and question 2 are both asking you to figure out the unemployment rate for April. See, April, that's a mistake. But just figure it out for April and input the same number in each here, and if you figure out the proper unemployment rate for April, you're going to get both of these questions correct. Now number 3 asks you to figure out the unemployment rate for May. Now you have the information to figure out the unemployment rate here. If you don't know the formula, the textbook as well as my PowerPoint gives you the formula based upon the information you have here. So you just plug in these numbers that you see here, and then you're going to be able to get it into the correct answer. Now for number 4, I have you analyze this graph. What I did is I charted the non-farm payroll employment numbers. You may be familiar with these numbers. These numbers were featured in the last video I sent to you about the last employment report that came out for the month of August. And basically what I want you to do is eyeball it as best you can. The data that you see here is monthly, right? So when I ask you here, what is the job loss for January 2009, you could find the year here, and you could kind of estimate where January is right above the year. This designates January, so January 2010 is right above the hash mark here. And just pay close attention to the vertical axis. This tells you what these numbers mean. So if you see a point right here, that's roughly July 2005, and you move over to the left, you can see that's right below the 400 point. And these are in hundreds of thousands. So that's about 390,000 jobs that were gained in that month. And so that can help you answer these questions. And that's going to be for number 4 and 5. These should be pretty straightforward. Now for number 6, I ask if the discouraged unemployed were added back to the labor force, the unemployment rate. So I want you to figure out how discouraged workers impact the unemployment rate. If you are unfamiliar with discouraged workers, that is covered in the textbook, but basically these are people who are not, even though they're unemployed, even though they're in the country, they're not counted as part of the labor force because they've stopped looking for work. So what would happen to the labor force when they're added back into that number? For number 7, workers who quit their job after finishing their job training program are likely to have the greatest impact on. So basically, questions number 7 and number 8 talk about the different types of unemployment. There's frictional, seasonal, structural, and cyclical. And there are reasons for both. So both of these are kind of straightforward. I'm not trying to be tricky in either one of these. But if you have any problems with 7 or 8, just email me. The definitions are in the textbook as well as my PowerPoints. So this is pretty straightforward. Now for this data hunt, I have you go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and find the unemployment rate for January 2008. So let's go to that website here. Let me go to it first. Hold on. So here we are in the website. So basically you go to bls.gov and then scroll a little bit, and what I recommend that you do is go to the latest numbers and look for the unemployment rate. Now I'm going to move this over just a little bit so you can see it. If you click on this little button right here, this gives you the historic data for the unemployment rate. Now remember, we're looking for, the quiz. We're looking for the unemployment rate for January 2008. So if I go back to here, I click on this, and you could see here, let me move this over a little bit. You could see the data, and over here, you see we don't have enough. This data only goes back to 2009, but all is not lost. If you go to the upper right-hand corner, you see this link called More Formatting Options. If you click on it, actually, you don't even have to do that. Do you see where it says From? Just change this to, let's say, 2007, and then you click Go. And you should be able to get your data now. This will update it. So this is a way for you to find that data there. Let me go back to our quiz. Finally, when the labor force participation rate is increasing, so basically you have to know, what does the labor force participation rate measure? And so this is in the textbook. And so if you know the definition of the labor force, this should be fairly straightforward. So this quiz set of questions are pretty straightforward. There's nothing really too tricky about it. If you have any doubt, just email me. And we also have a office hour coming up, and that's going to be tonight or Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And feel free to ask me anything about that. So hope this helps you, and let's see if we can get some 10 out of 10s on this quiz.